According to YouTube, I do not have enough subscribers to sustain myself. So please like and subscribe, and if you want a coaching session, click the top link in the bio. Otherwise, sit back and take some notes and enjoy the video.
Okay, so talk to me, my wonderful friend. What is your goals with Valorant?
I have a lot of friends who are really high ranked, so I was trying to just, you know, catch up. And I was playing, and I enjoyed the game, but I also don't enjoy sucking. So I wanted to try and get better, you know.
You don't enjoy sucking? Okay, so
Yeah.
this is fine if you want to contain them. I see you're not a big communicator, which is fine. I definitely think we should work on that, right? So comms is definitely something to think about. But there's a way you should think about like utility and stuff. That if it's here, if you were to break this, what would happen is it would create pressure on the enemies, right? Because think about this, right? You break this trip, what do the enemies say inside of their comms?
There's a flank.
There's somebody flank, right?
Somewhat flank.
So there's multiple options, right? You could break the trip and then hold an off angle and try to draw them to you, or you could break the trip and then you could go back and like rotate back to spawn. Okay, we have our gun out. We definitely need to work on our crosshair placement, that's for sure.
Coming up short, buddy.
Hi OD. Hi Tato. Sun's not bad.
I think it's stunned them all.
Calm isn't really needed.
Sounds like they're leaving.
Sounds like they're leaving. Okay. I think a lot of this is indecision. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I mean by this is you're constantly trying to figure out what is like the best path for you to take and constantly changing your mind like, oh, I think this is this, and I think this is this. I think this is good. I think this is good. Does that make sense, right? When instead, in reality, what you should do, right? And like what you should be thinking is, okay, I'm going to make X decision because of X actions, right? So like, oh, there's like too long and too short, and I know that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run and play on A site with my teammate, and that's my decision, right? And then, right, once the enemy is like cut noise or you hear them run away, then you can make another decision, right? But here's the thing with what you're doing right now is you're not learning anything because you're constantly like hesitating. You're going back and forth, right? Like when you rotated off of C, you could have had a great timing at B if you thought that maybe they were going B, but you wouldn't know that because you sat here and you walked for like 30 seconds for no reason, right? Or not 30 seconds, that's obviously an over exaggeration, but everything right here is coming down to like a confidence issue maybe, something about your indecision, right? So indecision down. Look at this indecision. Like, look at. Okay, so I'm really glad you don't stun here because stunning here is bad, by the way. So you do come to the right conclusion. But do you notice how like everything you do, you're like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Like, bro, all I'm asking you to do, well, after you get out of this coach, just fucking whatever you're gonna do, just fucking do it, right? This is your utility. It's your kit. It's your agent, right? Whatever you want to do, you do it. Now, if somebody asks you to do something, do it for them, right? But until then, right, if you have a reasoning behind it, but do you know why this stun would have been bad?
There would be no follow on
There'd
it.
be no follow.
Even if I did land them.
Exactly. That's exactly. So
That's what I thought at the time. That's why I was like, oh, maybe wait.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Right? So it's like here, it's like your next thought process should be, as I'm going through mid, what do I need to do, right? Are my teammates fighting? Do I need to pull out my utility here? Maybe I pull out my E and I run with my E out instead of charging it, right? So that way if my teammates go to engage, and you know, that's something, right? So the fact that you don't stun is good. Okay, we go here. Okay, so you can swing off my stun if you want. Is like an okay calm, but like, how do you think you could phrase that better?
Stunning. Nope, I don't know.
You don't know? It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the base premise, right, is like, hey, I can stun for you. I'm gonna stun X position in 3, 2, 1 stunning. Right? Do you see the difference there? It says, hey, this is what I want to do. Okay, I'm now doing this because I felt like it, and then the 3, 2, 1 is for the player to get ready to get like capitalization off of it, right? That's something you can do. Also, by the way, I mean, your Yoru's not ready to capitalize, and neither is your Omen. That could be a comms issue. That could be a, you know, a misread issue. It doesn't really matter, but always make sure you're ready to capitalize too. I have flashes, right? That's great. What do we want to do with those flashes?
Kill them out in the flash.
Do you see what I'm
Well,
saying though? Right?
yeah.
It's like it's important though. I'm bringing this up just because it seems so basic, right? But it's something we need to work on, you know?
I can flash you in garage if you want.
Anyway.
3.
Okay. So this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially on support. If you're gonna flash somebody in a garage, just say you're gonna do it and fucking do it. If he doesn't capitalize it, he doesn't capitalize off it, right? I think there's a big thing because like I want you to think about it like this, right? When you're using your utility, and you wait for this confirmation, the timing might go away, right? So let's say you think that this person's on this angle or something, or you think this person's in the open, and you want to flash him and you want to go kill him. For you waiting for the Reyna to have confirmation of like, I'm ready to go, let's do this, and then you 3, 2, 1 counting down after that, I mean, this guy can be in a completely other world, right? For all we know, right? So the biggest thing with you is like when you're communicating with the utility, just say, hey, I'm going to flash garage, get ready to go, Reyna, 3, 2, 1, flashing, right? That's it. Instead of like this big wait and then like 3, 2, 1, and then like they're not even ready still, right? So it's like, you see what I'm saying? Right? If you put more urgency on it, they'll feel pressure to capitalize off it. Also, when you're flashing, this is something small, but a lot of times when you flash up in garage, for some reason it doesn't work as breach, so a lot of people just flash the door. It's typically a little bit better, but it does mean that if somebody's like playing an angle that's like really weird, they could dodge it. But yeah, flashing to the door is typically better than flashing up. Just letting you know. Honestly, not the worst. Okay, so the smoke was actually really good by your omen, believe it or not. Kind of. Well, not really good, but it's an applicable smoke, right? I don't actually. I take it back. I don't like it, but it's good in certain situations, is what I'm saying. But anyway, okay. So from this position, right, you have to think. Okay, this smoke is here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scale up and just go clear fucking graffiti, right? And then once you've cleared graffiti, then you can once you've cleared X angle, you can go look at short or something, right? Like you obviously, you run out here, your crosshair snaps here, nothing here, then it snaps back to here, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way you have to think about this, right, is what I like to call danger zones, right? So when you're entering site, everywhere is a danger zone. Agreed? Unless you've used utility, right? So all of this is danger zones, right? But you can break it down into littler boxes, right? So for example, you have this, that could be a danger zone. Hell is a danger zone, right? Behind default is a danger zone. This area is all danger zone until you've cleared it, right? So when you walk out of CT, right, and like we can cut this in half, right, essentially. Wow, I fucking deleted everything. I'm the best. Right, so this is a danger zone, this is a danger zone, this is a danger zone, right? And then you have like this bigger area that's a danger zone, right? So the whole point of this, right, is to treat it as such, right? Basically, when you walk out CT, what this is going to do is it's going to clear this area, right? And it's going to turn this into green. This means our crosshair no longer has to be here. Not that nobody can peek from short still, but our crosshair needs to go to somewhere that is an immediate danger threat, right? So for example, we can hold it, and then as we go to peek, right? Oh, obviously this is going to be green too. So now our danger zones are to our left, our right, behind default, and short, right? Those are kind of our danger zones, right? So after we clear graffiti, this now automatically our crosshair snaps to somewhere else. Once we clear hell, our crosshair automatically, or once we clear this left side, our crosshair snaps to hell, or it snaps to default, or it snaps to wherever. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so this is how we should determine where our crosshair is going to be at any given time, right? A lot of times you don't know where to look, and you're kind of like, what do I need to clear? What do I need to do, right? So when you think about it, right? Okay, just take it one step at a time, right? And it'll progressively get faster, by the way. Like, okay, I need to clear graffiti first most of the time. All right, so let's go clear graffiti first, right? Now, if there wasn't a smoke here, what you'd have to do, right? Because so look at the angles on these walls, right? Notice this? It's like at a diagonal, right? So this means when you're typically scaling out, you have to go out and hug this wall and then see if anybody's peeking you here. And after, you have to like close peek the person that's here. That's typically how you have to do it if you're solo walking out. So that's just something to think about. You should always scale on this side of the wall if the smoke isn't here, hypothetically. But when you're doing a buy for next, what you should be thinking about is how can I become more lethal by spending the least amount of credits? If that makes sense, right?
I always thought you just have like you just check
Now let me
you
ask
have
you.
over 2,000 or
Okay,
something.
so this
Or
is a very big misconception between people in lower elo. Why do you think it's more about lethality, like income cost ratio lethality, rather than just buy as much as you can? Tell me your thought process why one's correct and the other isn't.
sorry, could you like repeat
Yeah.
that
So
question?
basically, the way I'm trying to put it is, why do you think it is better for me to say you want to go with more lethal weapons that are cheaper than the best weapon that you can buy, so that way you can still buy next round? Why do you think it's better to do the inverse? Or it's better to do basically what I said rather than what you're currently doing?
Because you probably want to, if you're on eco, you don't really care about winning the round. You just want to get some frags and
Well, I
just
mean, if you
screw
buy the
them.
best
No?
weapon possible, you can still get some frags, right? You'll probably get more actually.
Fair, but you're also thinking about the following round, just so you have more creds
But I
to
mean,
use
but your
for
argument,
later.
right?
No?
I mean, for later, there you go. Okay, perfect, right? What are indicators that tell you that they're about to execute on the site? Give me some indicators.
I hear some form of utility or something
Some form of
on the
utility.
site.
What kind of utility? I mean, any kind of
Okay.
utility isn't
In
whatever.
this se- in this in this team, like I don't know, maybe omens. I see an omen smoke,
Yep.
or I hear a leer,
Yep.
or see the nade like raised,
Raised is like a kind of
or
okay
boombot.
sign, right? Raised is like okay in the sense of they're hitting, because like sometimes it will. But like the biggest indicators are like Sova darts, right? Or like Raynoliers, right? Because like a Raynolier has to use from pretty close, right? So odds are they're going out with it. Or right, like what is it? Fucking, just basically smokes, initiator utility, Leers.
It's okay, don't worry.
Okay, so yeah. So like if you think about where we're stunning or like we're aftershocking, I mean, one, it's not really gonna force anyone out of the cubby in the first place, right? So it doesn't like meet our qualifications of like if then. But like or it doesn't it's not even like it's like right here. Like this is how you essentially aftershocked, right? Now I want you to think about it, right? If you were to aftershock this cubby hypothetically perfectly, is it a good piece of utility and why?
Not in that case, because there's a omen smoke, so I don't actually know what I'm
Perfect.
pulling out anyway. I'd
Yeah.
just be spraying.
Yeah, right? So it would just like force you to spray and it wouldn't be that effective, right? So it's like that piece of utility wasn't really helpful. Alright, that's a good piece of util. I like that. I mean, I think it had to be angled a little better, but I think it was okay. So what could you have done to make this piece of utility better?
Maybe I could have added a flash to it.
I mean, you could have, right? What else could we have done?
Or aim to higher.
Aimed it higher, I agree. What else could we have done?
Um, throw my stun as well to
Throw
line
your stun.
like
Alright, that's the answer I was really looking for, I'm gonna be honest. But all of the things you said, but here's the thing, right? Do you notice how you just pointed out three different things that you could have done better with this single piece of utility?
yeah.
Exactly, right? So the stun would have really helped, and the reason why the stun would have helped, right? So something that you could have done is make a really aggressive play on this sort of like fight, right? Because they're all back here, they're here. So something you could have done was stunned, and then throw in this shockwave, and then as the shockwave is exploding, throw a flash to this wall. So anybody left side gets hit, the person on this right side gets stunned, gets fucked, and then you could have pushed up with all this utility, and then killed the person over here, and then you could have backed out afterwards. Right, because it forces the people off the angle to the left, or you could have just fucking ulted, bro. Like, you could have, you literally could have just ulted here. Like, here's the thing about your ults, right, is if you see an opportunity where they're all clusterfucked here, right, and you knew that all of them were down long, you could have just ran it down at them if you really wanted to, right? I would have never been opposed to that play. I think it would have been fine. Now, do I think it's the best optimal play? No. But if you stun, and then you flash, I mean, it's just free kills, right? Okay. So I understand why you stunned here. You stunned here because you saw the chamber on the map, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but at the same time, right? Like, I would rather see you get into the habit. I mean, like, stunning people is like okay, but like realistically, if a chamber's out in the middle of the open, what is he doing?
He's offing.
Well,
Or
I'm pissed around. I promise you, this guy is not
not a pit
offing.
up around, but like I mean,
He probably has some sort of
he's just
TP set up to
yeah,
allow him to peek, and then he's probably TPing away or something, right?
yeah.
So stunning in the middle of the open really doesn't provide us much value because it doesn't allow us to take that much space. Now, obviously, if it's somebody that's not a chamber, let's say there's a fade just fighting out in the middle of the open, you choose to stun this, I'd say that's great. Good job. Right? But when it's a chamber, you gotta think about that sort of stuff. And then afterwards, it would just be more valuable for you to do a stun like this, right? So it stuns all of left side, right? Logs, shadow, something like this, right, would be a lot more valuable than just stunning off of the first person you see. Now, obviously, you can do reactive stuns, but you have to understand who you're hitting and why,
Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below, because God, I'd suck someone's dick to get put in the algorithm. YouTube, if you're watching this, just let me know.